Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Thursday morning Mind the Moment gathering brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare. This is a place where we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to speak with us about what mindfulness means to them and to discuss as a community how we can incorporate these practices into our daily lives. I'm Suzanne Rowe Palacino, and I am so happy to be here again with Tara Healey, founder and director of Harvard Pilgrim's Mindfulness Program. Good morning, Tara, and welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning, and good morning, everyone. It's been a couple weeks, so between vacation and other things happening, I haven't been here for 2 weeks. So I'm really thrilled to be here with all of you on this rainy morning. Actually feels kind of nice.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as I was just in a little bit of quiet listening to the rain. And
I know, and I'm in Western Mass, and I know it started out this way. Well, Central Western, it started out this way early. So I always love kind of waking up to the sound of rain. It's, yeah, nice.
I love falling asleep to it as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a friend that's visiting from the West Coast, and he just doesn't feel a lot of rain.
Yeah, right.
So I think he's just really soaking it up. I'm very lucky to have that part of our environment. I know it's not always, hopefully not a lot of people are on vacation this week, but.
Right. Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, so it's nice to have everybody here. And today Tara will start off with a question for the group to get us all chatting together. And then she'll guide us in a guided meditation. And after that, we'll have some time for questions and for comments and whatever else people would like to discuss. So if you could go down to the bottom of your screen, open up the chat. And if you want to see all the comments coming in as they come in, just click on everyone, the drop-down menu that says hosts and panelists, or whatever yours happens to say. So that will get you set up to see all the comments. So what should we ask this morning?
Yeah, so, well, there, as Suzanne and I were talking earlier this morning, and there's so much happening in our world between Haiti and Afghanistan. We're the surge again. It seems like we're in there's a lot of breakthrough cases with COVID. And, it's a question we've asked in the past, but it really seems appropriate to ask again, that during these times, what are you doing to take care of yourself? Like what is something, it doesn't have to be anything big, but what is something that you're doing to bring a little bit more ease, a little bit more joy into your life? And that could be, making your favorite dessert or spending more time with family. It doesn't have to be anything huge, but I think that, I want to underscore the need to take care of ourselves. And, just even simply offering statements of well-being, like how, may I have peace and ease today. And I think the good thing to remember is you don't actually have to feel it. It's just you're inclining the mind that way. And I was actually listening to Amishi Jha this morning. She's got a new book coming out called Peak Mind, but she said, your mind is constantly being trained. And she even said, as you're listening to these words now, what we incline our mind toward, we train. And so, her words were, we can redirect. That doesn't mean denying or avoiding or suppressing, but it does mean seeing where attention is landing and, as appropriate, inclining in a way that's going to be more helpful, easeful, that kind of thing. So, Suzanne, I always start with you, so I'd like to start with you. I'll say a little bit, but in the meantime, please go ahead and use the chat and let us know what's helping you, and that might help us as well. So,
yeah, a couple things. I feel the thing that really helps keep me grounded is that everything is changing. Sometimes it changes for the worse, sometimes it changes for the better. So that's something that, that helps me keep positive, is that as these negative things happen, that things will change. And that, I also am married to a scientist, and I know that there's a lot of good work going on out there. So I feel like we're at a really good place from a science standpoint, that those people that are doing that work are doing the best that they can. So that helps me as well.
Yeah, no, that's really great. You know what? I have to shut the windows behind me because the rain is so loud right now. I don't know if you can even hear it, but I've got to.
Yeah, go ahead. So, but I'll just take a look at what people are saying. Yoga. Yes, that's a great one. Absolutely. Listening to fun podcasts on my morning walk.
Yes. Yeah. Any podcast suggestions? We are open.
Please. I always end up listening to some cerebral podcast, which is not so.
No, I know. And there's some really good ones out there. 70 over 70 is one of my new favorites, and it's talking to people over 70, and it's great.
That one. What about you, Tara?
I recently had the opportunity to do a solo silent meditation retreat, and I have to say it really provided a great reset for me, because the retreat centers, in-person retreat centers, have been closed. That option of sitting, doing intense retreats has not been an option. But I did a solo retreat in a little house in Barrie, and it was incredibly helpful. So that was the first week of August. So these days I'm just bringing forth some of the bounty and the benefit, and the goodness from that retreat. And I think Suzanne, I would underscore what you said too, that there's a lot of comfort in change, and because certainly there's a downside if there's something going on that you love or you wish. Like one of my teachers used to say, if you've just fallen in love, that's going to change too. Now, of course, it may get deeper and more grounded, but the truth is everything is constantly being birthed, arising, doing its thing, and waning. And so, I think that that's something to take some comfort in, and it's really foundational to these practices. It's one of the core lessons, understanding change.
Yeah, and sometimes easier at times and more difficult at other times.
Yes. Yeah.
So walking in nature and mindfulness.
Yeah.
Talk with a few friends, colleagues for a short time each day to share family life stories. Keeps us connected. Oh, that's a great regular thing to do, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a good reminder. Bike riding or walking in the woods. Oh, lovely. Struggling with transition right now, but I find my bar exercises 3 times a week really help. Oh, I'm wondering if you do that on video, or like I used to do bar classes in my gym, but I'm not at my gym anymore. Share if you're doing it on video. I'd love to know. Slight Change of Plans is a podcast.
That is with 70 over 70. Those are like my 2 favorites right now. Yeah, really, really, really good.
Yeah, thank you everyone for.
I know. Thanks everybody. What's this one? Oh, Zumba. Yeah, it's great.
I've been doing a body pump classes online with a barbell, and I'm just picking up some barbells from I'm just buying a few from a community sales website. So
yeah, that's great. I think the world has started exercising more. And it absolutely helps with stress and, so many other things. The other thing I wanted to say about nature, because I'm just remembering this, that when I was sitting my retreat, it's in North Central Mass, and I was doing walking practice one morning, and that was sort of my routine. I'd get up and do walking practice. And like all of a sudden, I just saw this porcupine lumbering up the driveway right next to me, completely uninterested in me, not at all, without a care in the world. So later, days later, when I broke silence, I did look them up, and that they are incredibly gentle creatures. which is so interesting because they've got these quills, but they rarely use them. They use them if they feel really threatened, like if a dog comes at them, or, of course they're going to use them. But I loved that there was something about the gentleness of that animal, but also somewhat of a fierceness if threatened in a life or death kind of way. So with that,
Wow.
why don't we go ahead and move into practice? And so what I'd like to do is start by taking us through a body scan, and then I'll move into more of a concentration practice. So you want to find an anchor, and that anchor can be breath sensation. It could be a sound that is going in your house that is, consistent. It could be it could be the points of contact with the back of the body and the surface, that would be your anchor, that the feeling of that pressure. Hands together, hands on, so you have options other than the breath. And I just always want to make sure that you know that. All right. What I'd like to do is just have you sit in a way that feels comfortable and relaxed, yet at the same time engaged. And just kind of take a moment to see how things are. Just check in with the body. And then at your own pace, do 2 deep breaths, and you want to do the inhalation and the exhalation through the nose. Make the exhalation double the length of the inhalation. See if you can surrender your weight into the support of the surface. Maintaining a spine that is straight but not stiff. Take a moment to expand awareness to include sound in the room that you're in, or perhaps outside of the room, and just simply hearing. Beginning to bring awareness back inward, allowing sound, of course, to remain in the background as it will, not a problem. So bringing the attention back inward, and let's let our attention land right at the very top of the head, the crown of the head. And just simply as we go through parts of the body, notice sensation or lack of sensation, perhaps softening any areas that you might be holding, just to the degree that you can. So crown of the head. And now the sides of the head, including the ears. And the back of the head. Coming around now to the face, starting with the forehead and the eyes, the nose, cheeks, the mouth, including the tongue, and the jaw, softening to the degree that you can, and bringing awareness to the neck. Coming down over the shoulders, aware of sensation or lack of sensation in the shoulders. Moving down now, both the left and the right side, the upper arm, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers, palms. Softening and noticing sensation or lack of sensation. Bringing awareness to the torso, so the front of the body and the back of the body. Perhaps feeling the beat of the heart. Coming down over the hips and thighs, both the left and the right. Including the knees, the lower legs, shins, and the calves. Including the ankles, and the feet, so the soles of the feet, the top of the feet, the toes. Just aware of sensation or lack of sensation, perhaps aware of any holding, softening, just to the degree that you can. Really not trying to change anything, just aware of what's happening. And you can go ahead and release that. Just for a moment, bringing awareness to the whole body. Beginning now to narrow the focus on an object that will ground or anchor your attention. So each time the mind wanders, you're just going to return to that particular thing that you're able to connect with most strongly this morning. That could certainly be breath. So breathing in and breathing out, the belly or the chest or the nostrils. Or perhaps there is a sound. So for me this morning, I'm going to use hearing and use rain as my anchor. You could rest the palms on the thighs or the palms together and use the point of contact as the anchor. So I'll be silent for the next several minutes. Seeing where the mind is, returning to your anchor. And in just a moment, I'll count back from 3 to 1. And if your eyes were closed when I arrive at 1, can reconnect with each other. 3, 2, and 1. As you feel ready, if your eyes were closed, open, and maybe take a minute to stretch.
I really enjoyed listening to the rain. I had to open my window while we were doing that. And
Yeah,
it's just such a calming sound.
it really is. And it's kind of an interesting thing using sound, because the instruction is really just hearing. And it's funny. It's easy to see where the mind goes. I have to take my mom to a doctor's appointment this morning. So I'm like, oh, well, I'm glad it's raining now, because maybe it won't be raining this afternoon. It's just like how it's so easy to get tangential, but that's true with anything. I mean, that's true. No, if it's breath, it's true with anything. And just really the idea is, we're sticking with kind of the bare facts of receiving sound, receiving sensation. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So anybody would love to hear how the practice was for you this morning. And again, it can vary day to day, but any thoughts or observations about how you're feeling this morning? Difficult, easy. I mean, it's all good. It's just, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I what also helps me is just feeling my body sitting. I know a lot of meditation facilitators use that, but just, and my feet on the floor.
Yes. Yeah. No, yes. Kind of the solidity of that is in itself grounding. Yeah.
Because I do feel a lot more of that pulling lately, pulling away from.
Yeah. And as we said before, if anybody wants to offer a podcast or a book or a link or, anything like that, I'm very excited. Amishi Jha's book is coming out called Peak Mind. So, I have no stake in the book. I just trust her and have seen her speak a bunch, and she's great.
And I've mentioned this before. I just love the 10% Happier podcast. I have the app as well that I do use.
Yeah.
I tend to really go to that podcast.
Yes. Yeah. The teachers are like top notch. It's excellent.
And he tends to, just connect with what's happening in the world. So it's very
right.
Yeah.
No, that's so true. I think there is a fair amount of, staying current and sharing thoughts and observations, and, how to work with that, how to work with uncertainty. I mean, I feel like it's at the core of our practice. And, you know, in a lot of ways, what's happening with COVID and, you know, this pandemic and all the other things is that like this practice prepares us to, you know, engage with this kind of uncertainty in ways that are more balanced. And it's a practice, you know, I always, you know, just, you know, it's not always easy for me, you know, it's not like, but I at the very core trust the kind of method, the methodology, the instructions that I've received over the years. And yeah.
And I agree. I have a family member that tends to just meditate when things are really hard. And that's better. You know, it's good to do that. But like you said, if we regularly meditate, when things are thrown our way, they might be just a little, we might have a little more perspective around.
Yeah. Well, it's like training for a road race and kicking it all in 2 days before and then doing it, you know, and yeah. And also like really being careful of if you're doing it when it's just hard, I might make a leap and say they're doing it to help themselves feel more easeful, and to really be careful of that, because that's not the goal. You know, the goal is not, I mean, it's a byproduct. It's to see clearly impermanence and change. It's to see clearly how things actually are. It's not about relaxation, but it is a byproduct. But yeah, yeah.
Someone's mentioned the On Purpose podcast, Jay Shetty, and I have a book, Think Like a Monk. I haven't started.
Oh my gosh, I've been hearing about him lately. I'm writing that down. Okay.
Yeah.
Jay Shetty. Yeah, I think you mentioned him, Suzanne. And then recently I came across him. Love the Calm app. Yes, that's that. I don't have that one, but that gets lots of good thumbs up.
Yeah, I haven't heard of the Stoic Challenge.
No, I just wrote that one down. Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, I think, you know, all of us can serve as resources to each other for things that, you know, even things we're seeing that lighten things up for us. Like I've been watching Ted Lasso, and like it's just, there are really good messages in that show about kindness, about compassion, and he's very funny. So yeah, like I just think we can all like be a resource kind of for each other and share, like, what are you watching that is the show is called Ted Lasso, Lasso, and is it on Apple
TV?
Yeah, Apple Plus. So I just got an iPad, so I got a new iPad, so I got a year free of that. But I'm going to keep it. I think it's good.
We did a 2-week trial, and you know that worked, because now we're like, it's $4.99. It's not that much.
No, it's $4.99 a month, right? I know. I'm still on my year, so I don't know. I have like 8 months left or something, but I'm already like, oh yeah, you know. Ted Lasso alone cracks me up, and then my family's watching it, so we're all cracking up. That's just so necessary in these times.
It is. Well, it's so nice to have you back, Tara. So thank you so much for your guidance and all of your feedback.
I'm happy to be back, and thank you everybody for the suggestions. And yeah,
it's nice to connect with everyone.
Yeah.
And we will be back on Tuesday at 8:30. Paul Fulton will be here with us.
Great.
So great.
Paul's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
I'm sort of biased. I think all of our teachers are so good. But they each bring something unique. So yeah, it's definitely always something to look forward to, a different perspective on our practice.
Yeah. So always helpful. Okay, well, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day, and we hope to see you next week.
Yeah.
A good weekend.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.